Dotted Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Gerke, and today's show is going to be a little, well, actually, not even a little. It'll just be short, to the point, Newsday related, games list stuff. Nothing too exciting for today's show. So we're just going to get right to it. We're going to do the games list first. Let's start with the NHL since there's only two games on. Yeah, there are only two games on today. Let's get right to the games list. Only two. We got the Blackhawks and Predators and the Senators and Canucks. I'm taking the Canucks to beat the Senators, and I'm taking the Predators to beat the Blackhawks. And then let's go to Thursday's stuff because that'll actually be a fuller list. Ducks over Coyotes. Look, Duck fans, it's just not pretty. I know they won last night, 1-0. John Gibson posted his second shutout of the season, but it's still not looking pretty at all. Vegas and St. Louis. Vegas will get the split over the Blues. That game went to a shootout. St. Louis ended up winning. I think they converted like 3 of their shots, whereas Vegas only got 1 or 2 of their shots in for that shootout round. But Vegas will get the split of St. Louis. Let's see. Penguins over the Bruins. The Penguins are probably in a mess right now. Their GM just stepped down. I'll get into that story probably later on in this show. But I'm taking the Bruins. They're set up right now. I'll take the Sabres over the Rangers. I'll take the Flyers over the Devils. The Islanders. Remember, these are Thursday's games. The Islanders. Actually, no, I'll take the Capitals over the Islanders. The Lightning over the Hurricanes. And the... drumroll, please. And the Panthers over the Blue Jackets. And the Canadiens over the Flames. Yeah, there you go. Over the Flames. And I will take Minnesota over the LA Kings. The Dallas Stars over the Detroit Red Wings. Hey, Dallas Stars fans, not bad for showing up, huh? You play your first 3 games of the season after having a week off, and you're still 3-0. The only undefeated team in the NHL right now. Let's see. 3-0. I'm taking Dallas to beat Detroit. Colorado to take the split against San Jose. And Vancouver to win the sweep of Ottawa. The 2-game sweep of Ottawa. And I will take the Maple Leafs to beat the Oilers to wrap up Thursday's action. So now I'll just go right to college basketball and the NBA. And then I'll get to the news stories to wrap this up. So let's go to college basketball first. The shocker yesterday, Alabama beat Kentucky 70-59. I mean, I've been looking all over social media and seeing, well, Duke's bad, Kentucky's bad, Kansas is having a so-so year. I mean, you're having school. You know it's a weird year in sports world when you've got my favorite football team winning. You know, the Dodgers won the World Series, albeit a very shortened season, but they won it. The Tampa Bay Lightning won it in hockey, and they're probably still one of the best teams in the NHL, even without Nikita Kucherov. What else? It's weird enough as it is, but we'll get right to the schedule here. Come on, phone, wake up. Wake up, come on. There we go. College basketball first. Remember, I only choose the top 25. There are 1, 2, 3. Wow, there are a lot of games on today. We have one in progress right now. It's Florida State over Miami right now, 35-23. That game is at half. Got Ohio State, Penn State. I'm taking the Buckeyes. Creighton, Seton Hall, taking the Blue Jays. Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. Virginia Tech's favored by a point. The game's in South Bend. Let's take a look at the preview. Stats have Virginia Tech barely winning according to the predictions. Let's see. Season leaders. Nothing too exciting there. Pick Central. The spreads are already set. Team stats. Notre Dame scores more. Virginia Tech scores more points per game at 73. Notre Dame's 71. Okay. Points against. Virginia Tech has the better defense. They give up 65.6 points per game. Whereas Notre Dame only gives up 73. So that means Notre Dame's defense, judging off the numbers, is not as great. So I could see how Virginia Tech can come into South Bend and win this game. Let's see. What other ones? Got those. Kansas State, Baylor. I'm taking Baylor. Wisconsin and Maryland. Go Badgers. And Louisville, Clemson. I'm taking the Cardinals to win that game, which now leaves me to Thursday's list inside the top 25. TCU, Kansas. Go Jayhawks. Back at Allen Fieldhouse on Thursday. San Diego, the Gales, or not the Gales, what are they? The Torrents, I think. Against the number 1 team in the country, Gonzaga. I'm taking the Bulldogs. Houston and Tulane. I'm taking the Cougars of Houston. Villanova gets another game postponed. They will not be playing UConn. And Oregon will not be playing UCLA. That game is also postponed because of COVID. So as far as the winners for Thursday's games, I'm taking Houston, Gonzaga, and Kansas. Which now leaves me to the final aspect of this show, and that is the news portion of the day. The only thing that surprised me news-wise, or not surprised me, but the one major news source, let me go back to ESPN here and look at their top headlines, and then I'll pick one. As far as the Baseball Hall of Fame stuff, nobody got in this year. Curt Schilling got close, but at this point, he's just saying, no, I want to be off the ballot now because I know I'm not going to be in through the writers. Maybe the players committee can do that for me, but it probably won't be enough. Let's see what else is in the news here. Jason Witten is retiring again. God knows how long that's going to be. Let's see. No. Candace Parker is not going to be part of the Chicago Sky. She's leaving LA. Okay, whippy-doodle-doo. And the SEC schedule opens up with 3 Power 5 matchups. Okay. And Northwestern rewards Fitzgerald with a 10-year deal. So that's just another news story. In other words, this is what happens now that we're in the normal flow of the season. I know COVID still can postpone some games and you can't really fully get into it yet. But it's at that point. Let's make a Watson deal. Ooh, no, that's ESPN Plus story. I don't want to be buying into that. Oh, whoops. Sorry, NBA people. I forgot to pick you guys, didn't I? Let's see. Tonight's games, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on tonight. I'm taking the Pacers to beat the Hornets, the Cavaliers to beat the Pistons, the Magic to beat the Kings. Again, people watching on Rumble or IGTV, my head is tilted. It's because I'm looking at my phone here because I got to read these things. I mean, I could pull it up on my computer right now with Safari and all that stuff, but it's way too slow to load up in the first place. So that's why I use my phone instead. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Magic over the Kings over the Magic. Nets over the Hawks. The Nuggets over the Heat. The Lakers over the Sixers. Yes, believe it or not, I might actually watch that game tonight. See how LeBron's actually looking. And apparently Philadelphia has, if I look at the standings here really quickly, I think they have the best record in the league with the Lakers here. Hold on. Let me check out their standings real quick. Oh, no, the Lakers have the best record. Okay, 14-4. And the Sixers are 12-6 on the year. That's not bad. I would still take LeBron right now. That dude is on an MVP push, and the Lakers have the better team. But as far as the rest of the games go, let's see, where was I? Lakers over the Sixers. The Bucks over the Raptors. The Bulls and Grizzlies get postponed again. Man, Memphis, you need to figure out the COVID situation because you're falling behind everybody else. But, all right, so we got Celtics, Spurs. I am taking the Celtics, and the Pelicans over the Wizards, who, by the way, are a complete mess. I mean, Bradley Beal is balling out still. I know that. And yet, Washington is 3-10 on the year. That's sad enough as it is. Let's see what else. Suns over the Thunder. The Jazz over the Mavericks. And the Warriors over the Timberwolves. So now we'll go to Thursday's games. Trailblazers over the Rockets. Lakers over the Pistons. Clippers over the Heat. And the Suns over the Warriors. So that's your NBA list. There you go. Now we're all caught up. Let me actually end the show with what I started that topic with, which was the Baseball Hall of Fame not having anybody get in. Let me get to that story now. I got to get to the MLB.com app or the MLB at Bat app just to get to it. Let me go here. Where did I have that thing? Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, there it is. So you guys, I'm telling you, there is work involved, and you're just seeing the transparency as it unfolds. Okay, let's get to the Hall of Fame stuff, and then I'll give you my take on that, even though it doesn't mean much in the end. Let's see. Shelley asks, okay. No, okay. No new Hall of Fame electees is rare. Okay. So, for the first time since 1960, and just the 7th time since the first election in 1936, the National Baseball Hall of Fame will not have a new group of electors or electees in 2021. Yet because of the class of 2020's induction was pushed back a year by the coronavirus pandemic, there will still be entrants welcomed into the hallowed hall this summer. Hall of Fame announced Tuesday night on MLB Network that none of the 25 players on the ballot reached 75% voting. Threshold required for entry. Starting pitcher Curt Schilling, in his penultimate year on the ballot, came closest to 71%, 16 votes shy, then released a letter to the Hall of Fame in which he asked to be removed from next year's vote. Look, Kurt, it's obvious, dude. Just stay on the ballot. If you're 16 votes short, all you have to do is go, and like most of the mainstream media who does cover this, I'm like all of them. I don't care what you do off the field. I really don't care at all. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I know baseball does care. That's why I think they're partly afraid of putting Curt Schilling in the Hall of Fame. However, most of these Hall of Fames, whether it's the NFL, the basketball, the baseball, whatever sport you want to use, these Hall of Fames are built to how do you say this? Legacyize? I couldn't pronounce that word. Immortalize. That's the word I was looking for. You're immortalizing their careers for what they did for the sport, not for who they are as people. All right? That's why, yeah, I wasn't a fan of the steroid era guys either, but they should at least have a shot in the Hall of Fame too. So Curt Schilling's like, take me off the ballot for next year's voting. Dude, you're 16 votes away. And the baseball voting people, the baseball writers have decided to keep him on the ballot anyway. They're going to anyway. Whether Curt Schilling doesn't want him or not. As much as I didn't love the bloody sock game or the 2001 World Series game, I think he started Game 7 of that 01 World Series. As much as me as a Yankee fan did not love any of those games, I do look at your career and you are a Hall of Famer. What you did on the diamond, very few dudes can do. Now, regular season wise, if you look at Curt Schilling's career numbers, they're not that good. But when it really matters the most, and see, this is why, in a lot of ways, this goes back to the MVP conversation, too, in football. I mean, I could go off on a tangent for that, too, but this is why postseason stuff matters, too. I know the media and the stat people for all these companies, they all, like Elias and all them, they just want to go including the playoffs, as if playoffs don't matter that much, but they mean more than anything. Once you're in there, the spotlight's on you. And Curt Schilling's playoff numbers, whether he was with Philly, Arizona, or Boston, were unbelievable. Unbelievable. Very few could match his numbers, hell, even exceed it. Curt Schilling is a Hall of Famer, and all he needs is 16 votes. Just let him be in there. Regardless of what you think of his political beliefs. He is a Hall of Famer. And a bunch of these other dudes, they are too. So I don't know why we have to wait around for them to even... I don't even know why we have to wait around for them at all. That's why I still have these little stops and starts here. Because I keep losing my train of thought every once in a while. But anyway, to wrap that up, Curt Schilling doesn't want to be on the ballot, but he still will be, and he's only 4% away. Because remember, it's 75% of baseball writers, and I think it's like over 100 or 200, like over 130 some odd writers, or even 200. I got to Google that up and double check to make sure, but you only need 75% of those guys to say you're a Hall of Famer. And to know that you're 16 votes shy, just stay on the ballot for one more year and who knows? You'll be in. Because Curt Schilling, I know you are. Now this has been Before I Go. Thank you for watching or listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast. I have been your host, Austin Gehrke. Don't forget you can listen to this show on Podbean. Just search for the Austin's Audit Podcast. You can also listen to this show on Spotify, Google, Apple if you know the trick, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pandora as well. And for my Amazon Music listeners, if you have an Alexa-enabled device, just say, "Hey Alexa, play the Austin's Audit Podcast on Amazon Music." You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is @Austin_Gehrke for post-show interaction. You can also listen to this show on SoundCloud, and if you're on Instagram, you can follow me on @AustiSpamonti. You can, follow me on Instagram because you can watch this beautiful, sexy face on IGTV, and you can listen to this show on SoundCloud as well. Parler's still doing what Parler does. They need to get back into it. You can also follow me. You can also follow the show on Facebook. Just search for the Austin's Audit Podcast and click like, and you'll have all the episodes. Speaking of which, the other video outlet I use for this show is Rumble. Just search AD Gehrke. Again, that is AD and my last name, which is GEHRKE. The only letter in that search that is capitalized is the letter A. And make sure that when you search this thing on Rumble, when you search this show on Rumble, just make sure that is set to channels, not videos, and search AD Gurkey, and you'll get all the videos from episode 1 all the way till episode 149, which is today's episode. And then I will be back on Friday. I hope you enjoyed this show as much as I do making it. Until then, you've been listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast, and I've been your host, Austin Gurkey. Peace out, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace!